Let's talk about color management settings that are specific to a web-based workflow. The goal of color management is to keep colors consistent across an array of displays. This is a good thing in theory, but unless you pay close attention to your color settings when generating web graphics, the browsers can take over and assign their own values. This might not seem overly important at first, but when an official corporate blue suddenly shifts to a purple hue, chances are you're going to hear complaints. In this example, I have a logo. The version on the left is an RGB version. The version on the right is showing you what could happen if the web browsers are allowed to convert the RGB. As you can see, the graphic becomes much more desaturated and much more muted. We lose some of the vibrancy and a richness that was in the original logo. Adobe RGB 1998 color space has a gamut that's over 30% larger than sRGB, which means that colors in RGB tend to be more vibrant. In this example, I have the original RGB version on the left. The one on the right is showing you the graphic when it's saved out to sRGB. As you can see, the two logos look very similar. There's a slight difference in the one that's on the right is a little bit more muted and not quite as vibrant, but it's certainly closer than the example I showed you in the previous slide. The solution to the color management situation is to use this standard and widely adopted color space. In this case, sRGB, which was created to solve color matching issues, is the best choice for web use. The S stands for standard, and in addition to computer displays, it is now used for HD TVs and more recently mobile devices. It has also been adopted by the W3C and all major browsers support it. sRGB is the gamut that is most widely used when it comes to color on the web. So by working in sRGB space, you can take comfort in the fact that your graphics will appear as close as they can to your original art when they're viewed on someone else's screen. Providing, of course, that the device and/or browser that they're using actually uses some sort of color management policy. In some browsers and devices, that's simply not the case, and there's nothing that we can really do about it. Illustrator will automatically convert web graphics to the sRGB space upon output, but it's a good idea to work in that space throughout your design process so as not to cause any color shifts down the road. Do note that sRGB probably is the safest way to go when it comes to color, but it's not necessarily a guarantee that you'll get the same results on the web as you do when you're looking inside of Illustrator. In order to get the best representation, what you're going to need to do is go into Illustrator and go to Edit, Color Settings. In the Color Settings dialog box, you're going to want to change the first pull-down menu from North America General Purpose, and you're going to want to ensure that it's set to North America Web Internet. This will convert all RGB to sRGB, and color management policies should be converted to the working space. I also like to make sure that the two checkboxes for profile mismatch are unchecked. Otherwise, every time you open an image, you're going to get a warning, and this can be a little irritating after a while, so I tend to work with them unchecked. I'm going to click OK, and the final setting that I want to set up so that my color is managed correctly is I want to go to View, and I want to go to Proof Setup, and I want to make sure that I'm working in the Internet Standard RGB, which is sRGB. So make sure you change these settings to ensure that you're going to get the most accurate color representation when you're creating graphics for the web.